Hello, people. Today I would like to show you Sergio Toppi's Sharaz-De, Tales of the 1001 Nights. Sergio Toppi was an Italian artist born in 1932 and passed away in 2012. And this is a collection of 11 short stories. The first one made in 1979, and then the initial 8 collected in 1984 for the first time. Later, in 2005, Toppi made 3 extra stories, and this book connects all of them. The first short story is central and the connection point to all the others, and its premise is well known. 2 brothers, kings, were betrayed by their wives, and one of them becomes a very bitter man and orders that every night a young girl to be taken to him, to share his bed, and to be killed before the sun rises. And Sharaz-De, who is the daughter of a wise and rich man, offers herself as one of those girls. And when her time comes, and before the day starts, she asks the king if he would like to hear a story. And he says yes. And so beautiful are Sharaz-De's stories, and so curious the king becomes, that Sharaz-De manages to, night after night, live one more day. The script is well done, it's well written, and the plot is interesting, obviously, but it's Sergio Toppi's art that takes the spotlight. There is a richness in his details, almost a luxurious complexity, and Toppi thinks the page as an whole, the entirety of the page. His work is also very characterized by the sometimes absence of panels. Instead, he really works the page as a whole, and the placement of the text, the word balloons, and text boxes are fundamental to guide the reader's eye throughout the page. Sergio Toppi was very influential on several well-known comics artists. Walt Simonson first found his work in the late 70s, and despite not being able to read in Italian or French, I want to come back to this panel, so we'll put a mark in here. Despite Simonson not being able to read in Italian or French, he became a big enthusiast of Toppi's art and shared it with Frank Miller and Howard Chaykin, with whom Simonson shared a studio in New York City. in the early 80s. But I think the artists which are clearly the most influenced by Sergio Toppi are Dave McKean, especially in the texture shown in his work, and also Bill Sienkiewicz, especially in the composition of the pages and his very characteristic overlapping of characters. This is absolutely one of my favorite books ever, and it's one of the very few I have 2 copies of. One to stay in the shelves and one to stay on a coffee table. Simonson, oh, and I was forgetting about this. Most of the tales as you are seeing, are in black and white, but there are also 3 colored tales in which Toppi's style changes a little. Obviously, it is much more difficult in a colored page to left the panels so undefined as Toppi can do in only black and white. And then there are also not many distinguishing lines creating textures, but Toppi tries to make it with color, and these are also very, very beautiful pages. I would say there is something of Gustav Klimt in Toppi's work. And one of the things Walt Simonson used to say about Sergio Toppi is that he found Toppi the master of white spaces, the master of the blank spaces in a page. And we should be getting to a panel where that is very, very evident. But just look at the details of Toppi's work. It's magnificent. And these characters have this very serene look. There are bits of fantastical landscape and a overall feeling that that despite the story takes place in the Eastern world, it's influenced by the 1001 Nights are a collection of tales from the Middle East and China and India, but there is a alien kind of feeling throughout the book. It is like a magical realm, and here it is, a page, and I think this is the one Simonson considered Toppi the master of the white spaces. This is a wall, as you can see when someone digs a hole in it and escapes down a rope. And this is so brilliantly done. It's so elegant, so simple, and yet so striking. It's absolutely magnificent. And if we go back to that page I marked earlier, you can see kind of the same effect here. This is so nicely done. This book is translated in English, and I think there are at least two editions. One, the most recent, um, which includes all the 11 short stories, and the oldest one, published before 2005, which obviously only includes the first 8 stories. So, if you are interested in buying this book, be careful with that and buy the most recent English edition. Thank you for watching. Mind the comics. See you next time.